Tomorrow is the 10th anniversary of Black Saturday, the most deadly bushfire event to hit Australia. No corner of Victoria was spared from the terror as 400 fires blazed, some burning for more than a month with catastrophic consequences. While Victoria has been struck by thousands of wildfires, Black Saturday stands above the rest as our nation's most deadly.
This is crazy.
We've been to other fires in other places around the state and even interstate, but around here that's the worst that I've seen for sure.
The figures are startling. 173 lives lost, more than 2,000 homes destroyed and more than 7,000 Victorians left homeless. But the figures reveal little of the heartache felt by so many.
We've spent the whole night not knowing whether our house is there or not, and now our neighbours have just come and said they're not there.
All your neighbours are all right?
No, most of the street's gone.
More than half of the houses in our street have gone, with 4 confirmed deaths and 3 unsure.
Police were screaming at us, get everyone in the whole street, evacuate, and then not even half an hour later the house was gone.
Fires were sparked by power lines, lightning machinery and arson. But no matter what the cause, heavy fuel loads and extreme weather made February 7 catastrophic.
When the wind changed and I saw the flames lapping their knees as it come back underneath them, it scared the hell out of me. It still does.
In Bendigo, the hospital was threatened, 60 homes were destroyed and 1 man was killed. Many left asking the age-old question, how did I survive while others perished?
I thought that was it. I thought they're gone, the shop was gone, and we would be next, so I didn't expect to come home to a house.
Veteran firefighters were overwhelmed, desperately trying to save lives.
And a lot of people did that. No, we're all right. And then all of a sudden the wind changed and he rang his brother up again and he said, I think I'm stuffed.
Yeah.
The only reason he survived, he had a fish pond and had a little waterfall, and he stuck his head under there.
Bushland is often teeming with the sounds of wildlife, but in recovery it's eerily silent. Talk to any firefighter though, and they tell you on the day it's deafening.
Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, like a bass drum coming louder and louder coming up the hill. And I found out later it was the trees, they were exploding. When it hit you, it was just like, it nearly knocked you over. And everything was red and there's ash and stuff coming down on you.
The terror continued for 5 weeks, wiping out 500,000 hectares, killing more than 1 million animals and costing around $4.5 billion. The human toll, though, beyond measure.
We haven't slept since it all started, and last night when the wind started I thought, oh, this could be it.
Yeah, a lot of memories gone, so yeah, can't replace them.
No, we weren't insured. My parents have taken us in and we just got to start again.
If any part of this story has caused you anxiety, then please speak with your GP or you can contact Lifeline. Bruce Roberts, Win News. Today's 10th anniversary of Australia's most deadly bushfire event is not only difficult for survivors, but for first responders who are exposed to horrific scenes. As unwanted memories resurface, we're urged to reach out and help them as much as they helped us.
It came that quick. It was like, I don't know, it was like the heels of the devil walking among us, and that's all I could describe it.
This fire, once it started, it was just going to go. Nothing would have stopped it.
Victoria is one of the most fire-prone areas in the world. But as much as we regularly experience bushfire, nothing could have prepared us for Black Saturday.
Sorry, it still puts a bit of a lump in the throat. Yeah, it was make tankers 20 and I thought, oh no, we've got something.
Communities were ripped apart by grief and trauma.
And I do know of some farmers that actually committed suicide after fires that have decimated their areas because they just couldn't deal with the loss.
When something catastrophic like this occurs, it takes away that sense of permanence. It brings a sense of impermanence, so people don't feel as connected.
The Black Saturday Memorial here in Bendigo is made up of the everyday, the ordinary. It's got teacups, it's got golf clubs, it's got coat hangers. And that's to remind us that what happened here on February 7 in 2009 could happen to any everyday Victorian. Mick Kane's photo is on the wall. He was killed in his driveway trying to flee. His brother remains angry and frustrated no one has been found legally to blame for the fire. John declined to again speak on camera, but his loss still hurts as it did 10 years ago.
You never comprehend until it actually happens and it hits home when it's a family member.
The road to recovery for bushfire victims is often a difficult one, not wanting to relive their darkest day, losing loved ones and much valued property.
Obviously that brings back unwanted memories, and so their response is going to be an exacerbation of any sort of symptoms that they might have otherwise had.
It's devastating. You just can't stop thinking about it, but you've got to get on with life.
We don't want those reminders. The typical response for somebody who's been traumatised is to avoid reminders.
Unfortunately, yeah, some of my mates, they just couldn't handle it anymore, and we've just got to make sure we keep on asking them, past and present members, are you okay?
If you need help,
go out, seek out people that, if you have those people, who are supportive people, and talk to them and just sit through that process and accept the hugs, because sometimes that's all people need.
Bruce Roberts, Win News. Authorities are convinced Victoria will be struck by another major fire event capable of destroying lives and homes on the scale of Black Saturday. Everyone is urged to unite to reduce the danger, with new suburbs particularly vulnerable. While Black Saturday was our most deadly, another catastrophic bushfire lurks around the corner.
Once every 30 years we can expect a disaster fire like this with the fuel levels we have got now, and they are getting worse.
To avoid loss of life and property, preparation remains key, especially in new suburbs.
Our concentration of people in the rural-urban interface has gone up. There are more people living in places with gum leaves 2 inches thick on top of their roofs. They have got no hope.
Every small community, whether it's a dozen houses or Ballarat, Bendigo, anywhere, if they can reduce the risk on the ground, they've got a chance of survival.
On extreme fire danger days, some big mistakes are made. Apathy is one.
I think you just better get out. I'll come with me.
When the blinds are down, the aircon's on, the cricket's going or whatever, there's you're in your own little bubble, aren't you? Till you look out the window and there's embers landed in your front yard.
Not evacuating early is another.
Yeah, even on this flat ground, the fire would be going twice as fast as what we're trying to walk. So if you're caught in this, there's no way you're going to outrun it.
First Australians used fire farming to herd animals and to help seeds germinate that needed the heat of bushfire. But when Europeans arrived, the practice stopped because of fears over its destructive nature. And that halt is now getting a rethink.
Aerial incendiaries to get mild, gentle fires that improve the environment. That is what happened in Western Australia. That is what we've had to do. The Indigenous people understood the bush.
But firefighters remain frustrated they can't increase planned burning.
Yeah, this area was burnt out during the Black Saturday fires, and as you can see, we can get a fire going through here quite easily, and it'll be devastating.
They're also devastated by arsonists and reckless behaviour. Close to Churchill's Black Saturday ignition point, we came across a hoon driver producing fire-sparking burnouts.
Oh, go on, you sorry.
In a worst-case scenario, you can retreat to a bushfire place of last resort found in most cities and towns. The CFA does not want you turning up to a fire station, potentially jeopardising life-saving operations. On Black Saturday, 120 frightened residents clogged the forecourt of Eaglehawk CFA.
They thought they were safe here, but it was just not practical.
To learn more on how to be prepared, head to the CFA's website.
All the basic stuff that we've been harping on about for years, because on a day like that, the CFA just won't have an appliance to sit at your gate.
If any part of this story has caused you anxiety, then please speak with your GP or contact Lifeline. Bruce Roberts, Win News.